The hum of the projector filled the gleaming new conference room, a low thrum against the excited chatter of Anna's team. The project, codenamed Aurora, was sleek, innovative, and promised to put their company squarely on the map. Her boss, Mark, leaned forward, his eyes alight with an almost boyish enthusiasm. "This is it, team," he announced, his voice barely containing his excitement. "The game changer, our legacy." A ripple of enthusiastic murmurs went through the room, a collective surge of adrenaline. Everyone seemed caught in the current of Mark's vision, the promise of soaring success, the sheer scale of the opportunity. Yet, as Mark scrolled through the user data projections detailing a new, aggressive data collection method, a cold, quiet knot began to tighten in Anna's stomach. It skirted the very edge of what felt right, even if it was technically within the bounds of a legal loophole. To speak up now would be to throw a wrench into this collective euphoria, to be seen as the difficult one, the naysayer, the person who just couldn't grasp the bigger picture. Later that evening, the city lights blurred outside her apartment window, mirroring the disarray of her thoughts. The glow of her laptop screen reflected back a face etched with indecision. Aurora was truly groundbreaking, a career-defining moment. Her colleagues were already celebrating, planning launch parties. The pressure to conform, to simply go along, was immense. It wasn't about lying, not directly. It was about silence, about allowing something questionable to proceed under the guise of innovation. She thought of her grandfather, a quiet man who lived by a simple, unwavering code. He wasn't a scholar of philosophy, but he embodied a profound clarity. She remembered him once saying, "Before you act, or before you agree to anything, just ask yourself one thing. Is this right? Not, is this easy, or is this popular? Just, is it right?" His words, distant echoes from her childhood, resonated with surprising force in the quiet of her apartment. This, she realized, was the essence of what the Stoics understood by moral clarity. It wasn't about being rigidly moralistic or judgmental of others. It was an internal exercise, a rigorous questioning of one's conscience. It was the deliberate cultivation of an inner compass that pointed not towards external approval or fleeting trends, but towards truth and virtue. The Stoics would say that our primary duty is to live in accordance with nature, and for a rational being, that means living in accordance with reason and virtue. And central to virtue is justice, honesty, and integrity. Anna stepped away from her desk, pacing her small living room. The immediate consequences of speaking up swam before her eyes, the awkward conversations, the potential for being sidelined, the discomfort of disrupting the prevailing mood. But then she considered the alternative, the quiet erosion of her own integrity, the weight of complicity, the knowledge that she had prioritized comfort over conscience. Which burden, she asked herself, would be heavier to carry in the long run? Which choice would align her actions with her deepest values? The Stoics emphasized that our true freedom lies in our ability to choose our response, to control our judgments, and to align our will with what is virtue. They taught that external events are indifferent, but our reaction to them, our judgment of them, and our actions in response are entirely within our character and are the true measure of our character. For Anna, the external event was the Aurora project and its questionable data practices. Her choice lay in how she would respond. Would she choose the comfort of silence and popularity, or the quiet strength of truth and moral clarity? The answer, though difficult, began to settle within her. It was a choice between outward ease and inner peace. The path of least resistance often leads to the greatest internal friction. The path of integrity, though sometimes arduous, ultimately leads to a quiet, unwavering self-respect. The next morning, the conference room felt different. The energy was still high, but Anna carried a new resolve, a stillness born of clarity. When Mark opened the floor for questions, she raised her hand. Her voice, though steady, held a slight trembling. "Mark," she began, "I'm excited about Aurora, truly, but I have some concerns about the data collection methodology. I've reviewed it, and while it might be legally permissible, I question if it truly aligns with our company's stated values of user trust and transparency. I believe there might be a more ethically sound approach that would still achieve our goals." A noticeable shift occurred in the room. Some colleagues exchanged uneasy glances. Mark's confident smile faltered slightly. He clearly hadn't anticipated a challenge. He pushed back, citing competitive advantages and market trends. The air grew thick with unspoken tension. Yet, Anna held her ground, not with aggression, but with quiet conviction, reiterating her points calmly, focusing on the company's stated principles. She wasn't trying to win an argument, she was stating a truth as she saw it, guided by her inner compass. The immediate outcome wasn't a sudden epiphany from Mark or an immediate change of course. The project continued its trajectory, at least initially. But something fundamental had shifted within Anna. She had chosen truth over trend, conscience over comfort. The external world might not instantly reshape itself, but her internal landscape was profoundly different. The knot in her stomach had untied, replaced by a quiet, unwavering peace. This is the profound power of Stoic moral clarity. It's not about being popular or always having the easiest path. It's about cultivating an inner question, is this right? And allowing that question to guide your every choice, regardless of external pressures or the prevailing winds of public opinion. It's about choosing truth, even when it's inconvenient, and letting your conscience be your ultimate guide. It's about building a life not on the shifting sands of popularity, but on the bedrock of virtue and integrity.